The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and good evening. Oh, sorry, Thorranze. Can you mute yourself?
Yes.
I'll introduce you in a moment. Okay. Sorry. Morning, everybody, and thank you so much for signing on to our fifth webinar in CBBC's Digital Consumer Webinar Series 2020. My name is Maxime Renfrew. I'm the Service Delivery Executive here at CBBC, and today I'm joined by Thorranze Cheung, the Director and Co-founder at Red Unit Digital. So very quickly, just to make sure everybody can hear me, I want to do some housekeeping. You should be able to see this control panel on your screens. And if you could click the little hands up button here, give me a virtual hands up, and that'll let me know that you can hear me. I hope. Not that you want to hear me. Yep, okay, perfect. Okay, and then down here we have a questions box as well. Please feel free to send questions over throughout. I want to make this as interactive as possible, and just type them in and send them over. We're going to do a Q&A at the end. Even if you think it's not particularly relevant to the content of this webinar specifically, we have Thorranze here for 1 hour only today, so please pick his brain about anything that you like. All right, so as I said, this is a series and this is number 5, but we have many, many more coming up throughout the year. If you go onto our website, you can see the full list of the webinars coming up, and there's so much content there. Honestly, it's all organised up until June, I think. So please go there and you can register for whichever one you like. Up next, we will have an education-focused webinar talking about the differences between UK and US universities, followed by a coronavirus-focused webinar, which I'm sure will be very relevant for pretty much everybody. We will then have Scott Muir from Regroup doing a presentation on online reputation management, followed by Adam from Tong Digital, who's going to be talking about Chinese influencer marketing. Very quickly as well, I just want to give a quick introduction to CBBC for those who don't know. We are a membership organisation, and here in the UK we have 700 members across a variety of business sectors. Here on the consumer team, we support the retail, food and drink, and of course the e-commerce sectors. Over in China, we have 13 offices across the country. These are in the major tier 1 cities, including Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou. In addition to that, we have offices in other second and third tier cities as well. Our wonderful China team over there are working on the ground to support British businesses breaking into the China market. And let me introduce to you the topic for today and our speaker. So today we're going to be talking about implementing cultural intelligence in China. Now, Thorranze is going to take us through how to use these e-commerce platforms, which everyone is talking about, to create a seamless, integrated online experience for the Chinese consumer. In addition, he's going to be talking about cultural intelligence online. So what does that mean? I think everyone remembers 2019 seemed to be the year of cultural blunders right, left and centre for even really big brands. Don't want to mention Pizzagate by Dolce & Gabbana. It did happen. I think it proves... Thorranze, mute yourself. Oh my gosh. Dolce & Gabbana, yeah, Pizzagate. So yeah, we're going to be going, I think, advice to most companies after that would be to just avoid incorporating any kind of attempt at appreciation of Chinese culture into their branding. But Thorranze is going to take a different perspective on that and advise how to do so authentically and sensitively. A bit about Thorranze. So he's a bit of a creative genius. He did advertising in Jinan in China for his undergraduate. After that, he came along to Bonnie, Scotland, to objectively the best city in the world, which is Edinburgh, not biased opinion at all. And there he attended Edinburgh School of Art, working towards an MA in graphic design. And it was during that time that he actually co-founded Red Unit. Prior to that, Thorranze has extensive experience working in the Chinese market with world-leading agencies, that's including Dentsu, McCann Erickson, and Sony Entertainment. So Red Unit was founded in 2016, and since then it's had great success in the public, retail, and food and drink sectors across the UK. So enough from me. You came here to listen to Thorranze. I'm going to hand you over to him.
So should I share my screen? There we go. Okay. Thank you, Maxime. I'm very, very happy to be here today to deliver this webinar. Yes, as part of the CBBC webinar series 2020. So before I start, I want to say that I'm not sure this is working. Cool. I want to say that I know that everyone's really concerned about the coronavirus, and I want to pay tributes to those who are working in the front lines protecting us. And Red Unit has made donation to a university student volunteer group in Edinburgh, which is dedicated to source materials in the world to support the medical workers in the front line in China. And we wrote an article about that, the situation and our action. And you can find it out on our LinkedIn channel. Search Red Unit on LinkedIn. And I'm sure we will go over this situation and difficulties if we work together. So I'm sure the Chinese market will thrive again soon. So let's do our best job. And okay, just a little bit information of myself. So my name is Thorranze, and I'm the founder and director of Red Unit. And we are an intercultural strategic design and a creative consultancy in Edinburgh. We help local businesses to access the global Chinese market, helping them to raise brand awareness, generate leads, drive sales, and achieving sustainable development in the market with strategic design, creative content, and product, service, in-store experience localization. Importantly, we incorporate cultural intelligence and up-to-date technology and media. Simply speaking, we are helping you to be more Chinese market ready and friendly inside out, not only just on your marketing activities. And our approach and process inspired and proved by leading creative and strategic agencies and successful enterprise in the world, and we are making them available to smaller sized businesses with global ambition. So today's topic is cultural intelligence. So what is cultural intelligence? Let's get a little bit more academic at the beginning. So cultural intelligence is the ability to understand the nuances between cultures and how to harmonize them properly yet engagingly. And you can also call cultural intelligence CQ if you want. And so cultural intelligence is not a new thing. It existed for a long time and developed by the trend of globalization and has been implemented by many of the most successful brands in the world to the foreign markets. And here are some examples of applying cultural intelligence in the brand identity and touch points in the store. And while they may look a bit strange to you, but think about you're in the market, your customer in their market, you're kind of feeling really cool and heartwarming. And despite these, there are some variation of this kind of brand, but you can't do recognize who they are. And that's the ultimate goal of aptly applying cultural intelligence to a brand. So what do you think about applying cultural intelligence to the Chinese market? Does it mean you need to put this opera face onto your brand identity or products or whatever, or making this really red color for your marketing content? It is kind of ironic because there's a red in our company's name, and actually we didn't mean to use that to associate to China, and we used red to express our bold and ambitious image as a company. So let's go through some examples to give you more inspirations. But what I want to say is the modern China, it's much trendier than you think. And Chinese culture is not just about the opera phase. Oops. Okay, this is the example of what Maxime mentioned a little bit just now. But yeah, before we go deeper, this is the example that I really want to share with you today. It's completely inappropriate and it is obviously failed. This is a really good example to show you that you need to be exceptionally careful and sensitive in digital China. Otherwise, your name will be everywhere in just a few hours and people are ditching you. So in 2018, in November, there are 3 videos that have been launched by DMG to promote the Shanghai Grace Show, which has been regarded as an insult to the Chinese people. So you can see this video, a Chinese lady, have some difficulties to handle 3 kind of Italian foods in extra large portion. And these culturally insensitive video which play on racial stereotypes of Chinese people as uncultured and unaware of the West. This is a really good example to demonstrate that playing on what your traditional image of what China is may not work. And may not always work and will not give you the results that you want. And as expected, this video has been widely shared and criticized online and drove the company to their biggest PR crisis ever in the Chinese market.
Oh, sorry, Thorranze. Sorry to interrupt.
Hi.
Just want to double check, are your slides working? Because on our screen, you're still on the first one. Are you still meant to be on the first one?
No. I actually...
There we go, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys didn't see all the things.
It's okay, it's okay. Okay, now it's working.
Well, let me go on. So, unfortunately, you guys didn't see the very beautiful slide just now, but whatever. In contrary, there are some companies are doing quite well, and they are also Western brands. And Nike definitely gave a very good, very interesting and unique interpretation of the Chinese New Year in 2020, and it gained great positive results. And the differences between DMG and Nike is that Nike is trying to integrate themselves to the Chinese culture rather than view it as a Western, from the Western perspective. So these videos capture the Chinese way to be polite and by rejecting others' gifts and by chasing others to send gifts. In this case, it's a red envelope, as you can see from this video. And this video is showing a very typical scenario in the Chinese social occasion. And as the Chinese guy, I feel it's really entertaining. I can't help to laugh and how true it is. And the humor of the video is appropriate yet highly connected to the brand. And here are some more brands I want to share with you that are doing exceptionally well in the Chinese market by using cultural intelligence to raise brand awareness and to drive sales and cultivate customer loyalty. And Starbucks is actually doing very well in the Chinese market throughout the years. And though in 2018, they came across their first ever strong competitor in the Chinese market, which is a domestic coffee chain. But it should not stop us to view it as a really good example to apply cultural intelligence in the market. And since 1999, Starbucks has incorporated themselves deeply into the Chinese culture. So from all these images, you can see they launched this very trendy looking dumpling for Dragon Ball Festival, and also this nicely designed mooncake for the Mid-Autumn Festival, and also this very lovely cup having a Chinese zodiac on it for the Chinese New Year, and also this a little bit strange building with a Starbucks inside. It's actually very interesting. But when you actually think deeper, it is somehow the other way around. They are bringing the American culture to China, and they are using a very bold way to tell people that we are here in China. So obviously the result is very good despite there is a very big competition happening in China. Starbucks is one of the biggest players in the freshly grounded coffee market in China, and buying Starbucks for so long, it's a lifestyle in China that people simply enjoy grabbing the cup and view it as a symbol of status. And another interesting example is from Apple. So we always try to associate China to red, and especially Chinese New Year. In Chinese New Year, Chinese New Year actually is not just about gold and red, to be honest. And Apple has launched their Chinese New Year short film in 2018, and they're touching the most vulnerable emotion of the Chinese community about the connection between themselves and the family. This video achieved a very great result and trigger a huge amount of discussion online. And it's nothing about red and gold, but it is about Chinese New Year. So understanding the emotion and the connotation about the festival in the market, about the things happening in the market, is more important than just understand the colors superficially. It is not just, we should not just replicating what they see and use, but understand how they feel and what's the meaning behind. And Apple definitely has a deep insight into the true vibes and emotion of the Chinese New Year in China, and they interpreted and connected their product and brand into it very well. And you may go online to search these films, and they are pretty lovely and touching, and it will actually give you some more visual idea of China and give you this kind of really local feeling, and it's actually very nice. So do go to search for it. Right. So we went through some Western brands in China, but what are the Chinese brands are doing, you may wonder, and what is happening in China among the Chinese company? We think there is a revival of aesthetics is now happening in China in the consumer market. And the economic boom in China in the past 10 years significantly boosted up people's confidence on their own identity and culture, and also the ability to appreciate nuances of art and design. So in China, there are many domestic brands are emerging with very strong cultural intelligence too, and they're bringing the new and contemporary aesthetics to the traditional culture of China and integrating it to service, products, and content. Some of them are definitely learning from the successful Western brands like Starbucks. And you may wonder, why revival? Has China ever been really artistic? And our answer is yes. With 5,000 years history, China is a 5,000 years old country. China is really romantic, philosophical, arty, emotional, and you can find all of these elements into their traditional painting, arts, poetry, so on and so on. And sophistication is coming back, become people's choice again. And there is this report from McKinsey shows that high-end Chinese brands are increasingly appealing to the local market, which are trying to create a deep connection with the consumers, with their cultural heritage, and offering high-quality products. So to win the Chinese market, it is essential for us as a Western brand to make connection, connect to their cultural heritage and the deepest part in their mind. So integrating Chinese traditional culture in modern design is already a trend in fashion industry in China, and it helps these designers, brands to go out from China to a more global stage, but still being recognized as a Chinese design. Let's dive deeper to see more brands from China. So firstly, this very well-known and famous, obviously, the Forbidden City. Starbucks actually tried to open a cafe there before many years ago, but unfortunately, they shut down due to the controversy of cultural invasion. And after all, the Forbidden City is one of the most important cultural symbols of China. But now the museum has their own cafe, presenting their own iconic culture in a very modern manner. So in this cafe, not only can you have a see this very Chinese artistic design, which is presenting a very famous Chinese ink painting in English. I translated in the thousands-mile landscape in Chinese is Qian Li Jiangshan Tu. You can also having some very fun and interesting experience. For example, their menu. From the menu, you can find all the typical drinks you can imagine, like latte, cappuccino, so on and so on. But also you can find some very interesting names like the King's Favorites chocolates and the Queen's Favorites tea, something like that. And also the cup. So we all know Starbucks launched the Christmas cup every year. So the people in the world are just expecting the new design every year. So the Forbidden City Cafe also have their own cup. So when you go to the cafe buying something, and they will ask you which cup you want. And for me, my preference is this gold and red cup because it's pretty cool. It's really authentically Forbidden City. And on the other hand, you can shop some unique souvenirs and design products from this cafe as well. And the experience of traditional Chinese with the essence of modernity, these cafes become a must-visit Instagrammable place since open. I need to explain a little bit. Instagrammable, it means imagery, something eye-catching, and you won't be able to get access on Instagram from China without VPN. So I don't mean Instagram here, just giving you some more detail. So Forbidden City is now actually very famous for not only the history, but creativity to incorporate the culture and the royal image into commodity and products that we use in day-to-day basis. For instance, the lipsticks collection, which you can find from the cafe, inspired by the jewelry and the decoration collection of the emperor, once launched has triggered huge amount of discussion online. People just love it. And this just reinforces how to be successful in China. It seems that brands must capture the interface between tradition and modernity of this super historical country. So let's move out from the palace, and we find this really eye-catching brands with its uniquely designed spaces across the country. Again, very imagery, very visually striking, really Instagrammable. So Hey Tea sells a slogan, inspiration of tea. They use real Chinese tea to make the bubble tea like drink, but they don't sell bubble tea, to be honest. Their tea are all designed by themselves. So since launch in 2016, going to Haiti become a must for many people in China, and because they can go there to take photos and share online. And this notion trigger this very interesting long queuing phenomenon in China, and even a new job. Some people can help the other to queue and buy, and you simply need to order online, and there will be someone go queuing for you and deliver the drinks to your doorsteps. So the Instagrammable interior design and quality of the product are definitely what making Haiti successful. So then they started to improve the same concept to the other areas. They're starting to make series of Instagrammable lifestyle products, and they even collaborate with other brands to bring the lifestyle to the next level. But one thing they are trying to do, I'm not sure if you are aware, they are also trying to put the old Chinese traditional cultures, symbols into this modern design, making it more attractive to the younger generation, aligning to their taste, but also resonating with their roots of culture in their mind. So from this picture, you can see they collaborate with this bakery to make a Chinese moon cake. I think this is not really moon cake, but yeah, you know, cake. But they also collaborate with this Chinese traditional cosmetics brand to make a unique cup and package design. They even launched a special edition of Mahjong. Do you know Mahjong? So it's like a pretty centuries-old Chinese board game. You can understand it that way. So they put the logo on and launched their special edition of Mahjong, so you can play at home. And they even put "Made in China" on their back, which has been viewed by the world in negative way. Now they pronounce it loudly with the modern design. So it's pretty cool. And also the founder of Haiti said Chinese style is not always about red and Tang Dynasty suits or opera face. These are just symbols and not the essence and truth. which we completely agree. And this is the concept we always integrate into our work, especially design. Another successful story comes from a company combined short film and e-commerce together. So YIT-TV is famous for its short film featuring best artwork, lifestyle products, and boutique hotels experience in China in a slow and poetic style. And you may be surprised why Chinese market is so rapidly developing and why people love to be slow. Well, imagine that you're living in this big city with a huge number of population, and you kind of want to escape, and that's what people are thinking. They're looking for some emotional touch to help themselves to release the stress, to slow down, to reflect more and feel more, to get comfort. And more importantly, China is experiencing significant economic growth, and people's lives are better and better. And people want to align themselves to something more sophisticated and higher end. So this is more or less a type of mindset of the Chinese middle class consumer, and the group that making Chinese market potential and powerful on consumption, who are working very hard with the good life, and in their own time they love to be different. They want to have social superiority. They would like to buy something quite expensive but not extravagantly crazy, as a way to express their sophistication and self-reward. So YIT-TV leverage this video content in a unique tone of voice to develop a huge group of followers who are fully buying their concept and happy to be recognized more other products. So here comes the e-commerce. So you see this picture here. So in 2018, YIT has opened their offline store, and they aim at opening 100 stores in the future, 1 or 2 years. So you can see when you get into the store, you see the video content is displayed on the green, very big screen. It slows you down. It gives you this emotional touch. It is exactly the same experience online, but much more tangible. It connects online to offline and vice versa. So YIT-TV definitely is an example of using online platform, accessing data and insight to develop that new business model and access to the market deeper and deeper. So very naturally, we come to this topic, online to offline experience. So it's one of the most popular trends that is happening in the Chinese consumer market, which is making the online experience more tangible and making the offline experience more convenient. And the trick to make this happen, of course, you can think about some fancier technology like AR, so on. But for now, it is mainly QR codes in Chinese market. And because there is an embedded QR code scanner on WeChat, and the most popular app in China with 1.1 billion active users. So what QR code can do? QR code is basically a visualized link that can lead you to website, web page, WeChat article, mini program on WeChat, and payment. So it is a really good way to lead customer to read more, to do more. So yeah, you can see here, there's a picture showing this girl is scanning the QR code in YIT store to access more information. So with the QR code and WeChat ecosystem, you can build up a very thorough and seamless customer cultivation and conversion program for your business. Whether you are a retailer, working in tourism, hospitality, selling products or service, you can integrate QR code into your offline spaces to drive consumers online. So you can use with the QR code, you can drive people, your customer to mini program or content on your official account to make your buying experience more Chinese friendly, making them to follow you or add you as friend for further engagement Then you can build up this online community via WeChat group chats. You can drive conversation, discussion, chat with them individually, answering questions, and re-engage the user to follow your official account. Always encourage them to follow your official account for the future updated content. And use the updated content. You can stay them engaged at their own time and encourage them to revisit your sites, your store, to accelerate the decision-making process and close deal. And as they already follow you, they will get your updated content anyway, and they may contribute to your content in the future or use your content to express themselves on their own channel to help you generate more leads. And there are more examples to show you that how QR codes are flowing into people's life in China, how businesses are using QR code to connect online and offline experience. So there are these trolleys in the supermarket. There's a screen on it. So when you go to supermarket, you can buy whatever you want, and you can directly scan it, and then you can get the number that you need to pay, get a bill on the screen, and then you can just scan the QR code and pay the bill. And also there's this different kind of experience, but similar. You can get whatever you want, and then you just need to scan the QR code next to the products, and then you're okay to go. And there's this very extreme example. It's the homeless people even using QR code to ask for money. So yeah, it's really funny. But that's what we want to show you is when the online experience becomes so connected to people's life with online payment and social network where people share their life, the whole ecosystem completed, and the internet business starts to emerge. And the example we showed just now, why IT is definitely one of them. But we have one more to show you. It's Luckin Coffee. So Luckin Coffee is the competitor we mentioned earlier for Starbucks in the Chinese market. So Luckin Coffee is offering the market an app-driven booking and buying service. So you can book online and pay online. The coffee will be delivered to your doorstep. And when you when you get the coffee, you just need to scan the QR code to verify that that is your coffee, and you can enjoy the coffee at home or at your office. So it's pretty similar to Deliveroo and Just Eat, but it's for coffee. And this number you can see here, up to 2019, Luckin Coffee already opened 4,570 stores in the Chinese market, in China, according to the information that you can search online. And for this special online to offline model, it has attracted large amount of investment and attention in the market at the time. Well, but you can see Starbucks is still very competitive because they have been into the market for a long time and is still having like a substantial amount of market share according to the published report online. Yet the successful story of Luckin Coffee did push Starbucks and some other leading company to launch their online ordering and deliver service to keep up this to keep up their competitiveness in the market. And Luckin Coffee caught the behavior of stickiness to the internet among the Chinese consumer, especially those who are working in the city and offices and kind of lazy sometimes. And more importantly, it understands the lack of knowledge of truly good coffee in the mass market. According to published report, instant coffee accounts for 72% of the whole coffee market in China, while freshly grounded coffee just accounts for 18%, where you will usually find Luckin Coffee in Starbucks. So despite there are already many reports and articles online criticizing the quality of Luckin Coffee, and for many consumers, the experience of shopping, the convenience of these shopping, somehow still more important than the nuance of quality between these two competitors. So does it mean there's no opportunity for Western brands? We believe that there are still so many opportunities for you as a Western brand to catch in the Chinese market. And we think we shouldn't just look at what Western brands are doing, but also we should understand what local brands are doing in China. And that's the whole point that we show you those examples, and to help you to understand the benchmark of the market and understand what understand that entering Chinese market not only just translates your website and even just get yourself on social media. So now let's try to record what these brands have done and what makes them successful. And they are kind of sharing some similarity. So firstly, they are culturally unique. They created novel concept and they make things personal. Secondly, they make it Instagrammable, visually striking, giving users social currency. They create opportunities for users to claim the difference loudly. Thirdly, it provides a good experience, connecting online, offline seamlessly, making things easier. They also create distinctive experience, incorporating stories, lifestyle, which also can be a tag many consumers craving for it to put on their body and profile to claim their uniqueness, or use it to present their own voice and speak loudly online. And you then may ask, who needs this? Who is buying all these value and brands? Here we go, post-90 millennials and Generation Z. Despite McKinsey's report indicates that post-80 consumer group still the biggest group of consumer on buying high-end products and experiences, the post-90 and 95 consumers are kind of leading the way on consuming cooler and novel content and experience. They are definitely leading the future. So post-90s generation is one of the fast-growing and increasingly influential segments of the Chinese consumer. And this generation is going to account for more than 20% of the total consumption growth in China between now to 2030. And there are about 500 million of people of this group within the 1.4 billion population in China. And interestingly, the post-90s young free spender in a smaller city account for 60% of the consumption growth in 2018. So they are definitely the next consumption engine of the country. So let's go deeper to see these people, this consumer group. Post-90 millennials, basically the consumer were born after 1990 to 1994, sorry. So they grew up with globalization. They enjoy economic stability and emergence of internet, and they are globalists. They love questioning, and they are pretty much self-oriented. The most important thing is they love experience. They love go to festival, travel. They love flagship, top quality. On the other hand, the second half of post-90 group is the Generation Z. This group of consumer, they were born between 1995 and 2010. They grew up with mobility and social networks and digital technology. And they're obsessed about communication, having conversation with the others. They welcome different ideas, yet quite realistic. And they don't limit themselves to single identity. And the most important thing is like they love the truth, they love uniqueness, and also they celebrate the ethical culture and sustainability. And all these are just a general definition of these two groups of consumer basically in the world. But in China, they're young, but they're much more sophisticated than you think. And here are some more interesting numbers I want to share with you about this post-90 millennials and Generation Z. In China, these young generations are fully experience-driven, according to the McKinsey report. 90% of the participants in this group of the research say the most impactful channel for decision-making is in-person experience with brands. 86% of the attendees of this research in the post-90 millennials and Generation Z group said they are attracted by more than one type of events hosted by luxury brands, such as art exhibition, fashion show. They love to participate in events where they can show their sophistication. So what affects the last luxury goods purchase? Younger generation appreciate more nuances in products like design, fabrics, and creation process. In comparison to the post-65 and 70 generation, who is their parents, for the post-90 consumer group, design becomes much more important factors that will affect purchase behavior. But of course, brand is still a very important factor, to be honest. But you may think, okay, I'm not a very famous brand and I'm not be able to attract this consumer. But there are research shows that post-90s consumer is more willing to explore new brands. So make sure you put effort to impress these people. And if you are not starting to build your brand now, you never become a brand. And it takes time to gain consumers' trust and establish your presence in the market. And because post-90 generation is most receptive and willing to try new brands, you want to capture them at the good moment before they have developed some commitment to other brands that you may lost this opportunity. Then you may ask, okay, why they have this kind of behavior? And there are 3 points giving you some more ideas. And because this group of consumer, they were born usually under the single child policy, and they usually born in middle-class family. They enjoy the wealth from the last 2 generations. They have pretty much carefree childhood, and they usually have a lot of financial support from the family, and that's the reason why they are the vanguard of the Chinese urban middle class. Cool. Let's come to the next part. So for Western brands, businesses, what can you do? We got some tips for you. Firstly, we ask you to rethink about social media, and they can be a service-driven platform to help you to offer excellent services with while acting as a promotional platform. So whether you are a retailer or working in tourism or hospitality industry, you can consider using QR codes to create this customer journey that is telling your story, connecting platforms, and help your consumers to shoot problems. So no matter you're using personal accounts or WeChat or official accounts, or you have a mini program, so try to think more about getting your service and products ready before thinking about marketing or promotion, should I say. And you cannot just sell a cup when your coffee is not ready as a cafe, can you? And we have done a few solutions for some businesses, so if you're interested in, please get in touch. So following the last point, service and products are good promotional tools. So remember the case we talked about just now, right? They create USP for buying through service and products. And this is actually the right way to do real marketing. No business can succeed through purely promotion, because marketing is simply defined as putting the right product in the right place at the right price at the right time. This is a classic 4P metrics: price, product, promotion, and place. Product is always come first at the core. So when you're entering the Chinese market, adapt your product and services, making our customer feel comfortable, handy, exciting, making them want to share and talk about you, making them feel intrigued with your product and service first. According to the insight we showed just now, nuances like design is one of the factors that could affect decision making for younger generation. So instead of just using media to create your Chinese content, you should consider a professional designer who can help you to adapt the brand identity well, using the right fonts, the right tone, making the right typography, combined with the right images is very important. So we saw too many brands invested great amount of money on their Western brand identity, but never spent a penny to adapt that to the Chinese market, and it completely lost their authenticity and quality that they have in the Western market, in the Chinese market, and it is a shame. So Chinese character is very, very different from the Roman letters. It needs a completely different logic and design language to make good results, which still align to your original brand identity. It is not something just about feeling. It's a science. So call us if you need help. But when you are doing your content and adapting your brand identity, remember to be yourself, because being yourself is the only way to be unique. and being unique is the only way to be attractive. This is the ultimate principle that we always believe in Red Unit, and we use this to create brands that is timeless. We always ask our client to be themselves, and we spend time with them, usually very long time with them, to help them to find themselves. While integrating yourself to the market, please remember to keep the essence of yourself. Your culture is what making you very unique. However, please be respectful to the Chinese society and make a balance, just like yin and yang. It's just because, you know, the rapid growth of economy and the significant change of lifestyle and this life standard means that Chinese people are now having a stronger self-awareness and patriotic emotion. So it's definitely really important for you to be more culturally sensitive. Yes, moving to the next point. And cool, in terms of your target consumer, for many brands, I have to say not for all the brands, your customers from China tend to be younger than your domestic customers. And they usually will be the younger generation born and with technologies and some Western influence. And yeah, so definitely think about this group of consumers. So next point is about if you are going to create content, better to go imagery and use video. And because the market is looking for something short, eye-catching, and interesting content. The video market, especially the short video market in China, is booming. So in 2016, the number of the short video market, the user number of the short video market in China is just 153 million, but it is expected to raise up to 600 million in 2020. And we help various clients to create video-driven campaigns which bring pretty good results. And if you're interested in, do get in touch. Oh, I forgot to show this lovely background video. It's very cool. Right. Okay. Oh, sorry. So the last point, last but not least, this is the tips, but also my favorite philosophical quotes from Thorranze Cheung, which from Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu is one of my favorite philosophers from China. So the highest virtue is like water. Move this, sorry. Oops. So the highest virtue is like water. Water gives life benefits. And it benefits, sorry, water gives life and benefit 10,000 things. Flowing in place people reject, water is close to the town. By finding itself close to the land, water remains humble. Its heart is as deep as sea. It treats everything gently and with peace. Water speaks the truth, governs with other, works efficiently. Its movement recurring with perfect timing, no fights, no fear. And what I want to say is flow into the market, integrate yourself to the culture. Being humble can be powerful. Being powerful doesn't mean that you need to shout loudly. And I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. And now we're moving to question.
Hi, Thorranze. Thank you so much.
Hello.
No, that was excellent. We definitely need to up our PPT design game here at CBC. That was a very aesthetically pleasing presentation. So I can't see any questions in the box, but I have a few myself, just conversation going.
Yeah, cool.
So you mentioned earlier on, you know, the kind of first impression of Chinese culture might be the opera masks and the dynastic kind of clothing and things like that, and how perhaps now China doesn't really associate that as much with their kind of modern culture. So, you know, for companies, how can they approach that? Should they avoid the kind of historic, I don't know, outfits and all that kind of stuff, like the kind of thing that the Forbidden City is doing? Should they just avoid that altogether, or what does it mean, this modern China?
You mean? I think this is a really interesting topic. I may talk about something not really related to Chinese market first. It's about the Asian market design. So interestingly, it has a similar situation happened in Japan before. So at the time when Japan, around World War II, I think, so the graphic design, the whole design trend, they completely try to learn about the Western market. They completely incorporate the full Western style into the design. But after that, they find that, okay, we kind of lost our identity. And then they start to incorporate back into their own culture, this kind of really Japanese, Asian kind of thing into the design to form this really Japanese, but still very modern design style. And interestingly, I saw a really similar things happening in China recent year is Chinese people and the brands are putting something really cultural and sometimes even a little bit traditional into the design, and looks really cool. I mean, you can see this, the example from Starbucks, their Western brand, they put up a lot of very interesting ideas and symbols from China into the design, but using a very contemporary design language. And that's something that I think we can learn about. And there's another thing, sometimes you don't have to use, as I said earlier, it's like there's this kind of opera phase or Tang Dynasty. So somehow this kind of thing are just simple, and it's really important to understand what does it mean behind that. So I think the Apple case study also giving some inspiration is doing Chinese markets, marketing or content. You don't really have to put on this kind of simple. Sometimes you just need to understand some meaning behind the screen, behind the products, behind the objects or the topics, and then you can utilize that kind of emotion or meaning or connotation to create content. So I think these two ways are all work pretty well in the Chinese market currently. Not sure if this answers your question.
No, that was a fantastic answer. Absolutely. We've got loads of questions now, so I'm conscious we should work our way through them. Number one, is there anything we should bear in mind when marketing to a 45 plus middle class market? Jason.
You mean, is there anything we should bear in mind?
If you're marketing to like the older, slightly older generation, so 45.
Okay. That's interesting. You know what I found very interesting is like my mom is slightly older than this age, but still like maybe above this age. And I found the older generation now is much more tech savvy than before. Because they are already hit maybe the peak of their career, and then they have much more time to explore something new. And I found my parents, and they are experiencing something, they are actually happy to accept many new idea and interesting, concept. But to be honest, they definitely a little bit more conservative than the younger generation. So I think for this group of people, they are more willing to see something more positive and more, I think, I think positive is a really good word. So try not to be too quirky, and then try not to be too strange and weird, which is really appealing for young people sometimes. But for this older group of customer, definitely go something positive, something, beautiful. I don't know. Yeah, is this answer the question? Yeah.
No, I think so, for sure. Okay, next.
They're definitely much more open-minded than before. However, still a little bit conservative anyway.
Yeah, maybe not as splurgy with the money as young generation.
No.
So next one. So how do brands balance localization with staying true to what they represent? So I guess, how do you not lose your Britness?
I guess before you do that, you need to understand who you are, because I see so many brands doing marketing to China. They will completely lost themselves. They will making themselves look really too localized too much. I mean, I saw some brands, they are trying to be aligned to the Chinese market, and they will play some really local internet term of topic. For example, I saw a brands, their package is blue, and then they are selling like they are spirits, they are alcoholic drinks, and they are playing this concept of blue bottle. So blue bottle, and they want to call it blue friend. And blue friend in Chinese, in Mandarin, you can translate to 男朋友. So it's really similar to boyfriend. So they play a little bit of the concept about, okay, in the Chinese New Year, bring a blue friend, bring a boyfriend, that means, from to home. It's an interesting concept. However, I think it's degrading that kind of level of product because they're selling a bit like single malt whiskey. And then I think sometimes you need to consider if you need to go to that far to hit that buzzword on the internet. Sometimes I don't think you need to. Just think about what is your brand identity, what is your philosophy, what it stands for, before you try to bring this to the market to integrate with the culture. That's my suggestion. So that's why I said earlier, we spend a long time to help people to find out who you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Next one is, how is the digital culture evolving for the wine and spirits industry? I don't know if you guys have any expertise in
what? Sorry, wine and spirits.
Yeah. Yes.
Isn't it wine and spirit?
Wine and spirits.
Oh, this is a really good. You know what? Because I follow a few accounts that they are like a blogger, or you can say themselves a bit like a KOL, and how they are actually writing blog on WeChat, official account on WeChat about wine, and they are writing some article about their personal tasting experience. Interesting, and usually in the article, and they will link you to a WeStore or WeChat e-commerce, whatever third party like Shopify like platform to buy the wine they're writing about. And after that, I mean, I actually see so many similar accounts existing, like people or the blogger, they write about wine and then connect to an e-commerce and people can buy wine, buy the drinks directly. I think that is definitely something is happening in the market. And because wine and spirits, for example, whiskey, they are not originally it's especially like spirits, like whiskey, something like that, and it's quite, especially like single malt whiskey with more crafted culture and longer time to make it, something like that, and people are still not really familiar with that. So people love to hear about you know, the tasting experience, more cultural behind that, the making of the drinks, and something more information to help them to understand it, to make decision. And obviously the word of mouth, they want to hear about a recommendation. Yeah.
Yes, and just very quickly, Sarah also asked, I'll just lead on from that question, specifically for an online to offline experience. So how would you sort of recommend that alcohol brands can do like an omni-channel kind of route to market?
I think if you have, do you mean like a wine and spirits again, or just generally speaking?
Wine and spirits, yeah, same question. Just specific for like online to offline experience.
I think the online experience, I mean the online connect to the offline experience connecting to online experience. The good thing is that you can kind of offer, because the digital platform can offer quite diverse format of content. You can distribute music, video, writing, pictures, a really diverse format of information. I think for wine and spirits, and you can kind of use this QR code for example, if you're having a tasting event, and then you can have a QR code, simply just link the attendees to online to look at more about this, the story behind the alcohol, the drinks that they're trying, and also to think about more about the brand. And if they like it, they can directly book online. And I think that's a really simple example to show that how online, offline can connect together for like this industry.
Perfect. All right, we have about 1 minute left. Thank you so much, Thorranze. That was an excellent presentation. And thank you to everybody for all of your questions. You can contact Cameron or Thorranze here, and I will be sending a follow-up email to this with all of their contact details. I guess if they want the slides, could they maybe contact you? Or is that okay? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Perfect, and this has all been recorded, lucky for us. So if you want to relive it again, you can find it on our YouTube channel. Yeah, thanks again for everyone for being here and listening today, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you, Thorranze. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Yeah. Oops.